Hey guys, I am sorry that today's class was a bust. I could not get logged in at all. So what I've done is I'm going to just make this quick recording so we can look through what we were going to do in class today, and then I'm going to invite you all to a session tomorrow morning at 9:30. If you have another class and you can't come, I understand, but if you can come, that would be great because I'd love to have the discussion that I had planned for today. So let's look at what that discussion is going to be that you can come participate in tomorrow. The discussion question is, what makes people have to say, that's not what I meant, all the time? I know we hear that in conversation. You're having a conversation, or you get, you respond to a text message or an email, and somebody says, well, that's not really what I meant. All right. So why do we have to say that? What in the way that we converse with each other makes us have to say, well, that's not what I meant? And how do we stop this confusion in our world? So that's what we're going to talk about, and then we are going to connect that to and all these slides here, just different places where you'll have the opportunity to put your name and your thoughts about the question first. So there'll be time just for thinking and putting your thoughts on the board. And then we will come together, and what we're going to do is respond to each other. So we're going to look at these, what they're called sentence starters, to help us respond to what classmates have written. So as a group, we'll pick 3 of these that we want to use. What I'll do is I'll take volunteers who want to respond to one of those sticky notes on a previous slide using one of the sentence starters. And then I will be calling on some people to respond based on, just what I'm seeing in the classroom. Because I really want us to get used to getting on the mic and talking to each other, because you can't have full, real discussions and really understand what people mean to say unless you hear them say it. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow in the 9:30 session that I'm going to invite you to. So the rest of this session has to do with the constructed response assignment that is not due on Thursday, but it's due on Friday. So we're going to just quickly go through that so we can kind of get to your ticket out the door. So we're going to talk about author's tone and what that is, activate some prior knowledge, this idea that the writer has a tone in mind, all right? They have an attitude, an opinion towards whatever their subject matter is. And then that's reflected to the reader through mood. The mood that is created in the reader hopefully matches with the tone that the writer had in mind. All right, then we're going to just work through some of your assignment, reading through sympathy and listening for the author's tone, the author's attitude towards this bird and this bird seeking freedom. All right, and we get an idea of the tone in the title. All right, so we get this idea that we're supposed to feel sympathetic towards this bird that is trying to escape. And one thing that I wanted to make sure that we looked at was author's purpose, because we talked about this on Monday, and I put a little thing in our class news announcement about author's purpose and making sure that we can distinguish between author's purpose and theme. All right, that the author's purpose has to do with kind of like the real world. Why is it that they want to get that message or that theme across to people? All right, so why does Dunbar want to share this message about a caged bird that is going to work so hard? Doesn't matter how much this bird is going to hurt itself, it's going to try to seek freedom. And this is where we want to make those connections with say, the Harlem Renaissance and, the Great Migration that led to the Harlem Renaissance, thinking about how this poem fits in there. And that's something I want you to be able to do on this assignment. All right. I'm not going to tell you what it is right here or what my opinion of what it is right here, because I want to hear from you guys. I want you to think about that sympathetic tone and how that sympathetic tone could promote his purpose or the reason he wanted to write this poem. All right, and then we're going to look at theme. So theme is that, main idea. Think about theme and what does this person want to say about, mankind in general. All right, so this is more of those overarching statements, not specific to, say, a time period, because theme should, span, time and place. So that big overarching main idea that we're supposed to gather about the world in general is what theme is. And so then we were going to look at theme in connection with We Wear the Mask and, what we're supposed to take out of this. What is the message that he's wanting us to understand about wearing a mask or putting, not necessarily your true face forward, only expressing your true inner, pain to God instead of just, to the whole world in general. And then again, we were going to look at theme, and we note here that we're talking about real world connections, all right? So that gets back to that feeling of purpose. So how is this theme about wearing a mask and his ideas about wearing a mask, how does that connect with this purpose, this real world reason that he wrote this poem? And that's what you're wanting to think about if you are going to write about theme and We Wear the Mask for your constructed response assignment. All right, and then just a reminder of that assignment. You're picking one poem and one literary device. On Monday, we looked at imagery in Mother to Son, so you could pick that poem to write about. At the beginning of class, we looked at tone in Sympathy, so you could pick that poem and that literary device, or you could pick We Wear the Mask and theme. But what you're going to do for any one that you pick, so you're only going to write one paragraph about one poem, one literary element, you're going to start with author's purpose. So why did the author write the poem? And then you're going to talk about how that literary device, that imagery, that tone, that theme, how it helps that author convey their purpose to the audience. You're going to make sure that you have a thesis statement that includes the title, the author, the purpose, the literary elements. You do need a direct quote that you use in-text citation for. And then you're going to, after that quote, you're going to give your analysis about how that quote and that literary element prove the author's purpose. If you have questions about this assignment and need some help with it, we will have a writer's workshop session on Friday morning at 10:30. All right, and then we were going to go into breakout rooms. You were just going to rotate through the rooms to get information about imagery and tone and theme and the project in general, be able to work together, but we're going to skip that part for the sake of the recording. A note that today, Wednesday, and from Wednesdays here on out, your Raise Your Grade session will be an EOC kind of prep session. So from 12:30 to 1:30, all of the American literature teachers and students from all American literature classes at GCA will be invited, and we'll have kind of a mini lesson at the beginning and then some breakout rooms, just practicing with different standards and different strategies to prepare you for that end of course test. So we'd love for you to come. It should be on your Class Connect schedule, where Raise Your Grade usually is on Wednesdays at 12:30. All right, and that's it. Your password today is tone. So just to go to Instructional Cycle 4 and your ticket out the door module and take your quiz. I hope you have a great one.